Hey, once again, it's me, and I'm doing one of my very every now and again videos where I watch a film and talk shit about it, basically. It's not the greatest format. This week it's Blood Creek. In the 1930s, Adolf Hitler believed the occult held the secret to immortality. Almost a century later, the nightmare has awakened. Yeah. In 1936, the Warners, a German family living in Town Creek, West Virginia, are contacted by the Third Reich to host a visiting scholar. In need of money, they accept Professor Richard Worth into their home, unaware of the Third Reich's practices in the occult or Worth's real mission, which will keep the family bound for decades to come. Now, more than 70 years later, Evan Marshall's older brother, Victor, mysteriously disappears near Town Creek for 2 years and suddenly returns very much alive, having escaped his captors. Evan asks no questions at his brother's request. He loads their rifles, packs their boat, and follows Victor back to Town Creek on a mission of revenge that will test them in every possible way. It's an 18. Now I've not seen this one. I was thinking to myself, because there's so many Nazi-related horror movies now. Just getting my controller. I'm going to start this playing because it's got some trailers at the beginning, which I'll cast a cursory eye over. But is that Kevin Costner? No, I don't think it is. It is, I think. I don't know what that's a trailer for. But anyway, yes, there's so many Nazi-related horror movies that it's almost a trope now. It's like they caught up with the comic books. Comic books would always have, like, you know, the Nazis would always be experimenting in magic and the occult, like the Spear of Destiny and so forth from the Justice Society of America. Plenty of other things like that, I'm sure, have been used before in books and so forth. So it just makes sense that the movies would do it. But there's always seems to be like occult Nazi zombies seems to be a genre all of its own almost. And so there's the Bunker and various other ones like that. I can't really can remember the names off the top of my head. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen this one anyway. But so this trailer's interesting. Looks like Kevin Costner, but I don't recognise the film at all. Some kind of demon kid maybe? Some kind of witchcraft, his kids are being possessed or something like that. The name of it hasn't come up yet though. There's some kind of effigy that the girl's holding in bed. It's funny, this doesn't ring any bells whatsoever looking at this. Is that Kevin Costner? I'm not sure if it is. He looks kind of like him. No, I don't think it is. I doubt it. It looks too great of a movie to be. It's probably no one. Well, when does this film come from? Because I haven't seen this trailer, whatever it's advertising. The New Daughter, it's called. She's some kind of devil daughter. No names on it attached. So I don't know who the heck that was that I thought looked a bit like Kevin Costner. The New Daughter. Okay, we've got a new trailer. One call started it all. Oh, this is another one of them ever popular tropes of phone call. Oh, it looks like the Scream. Yeah, it's a trailer for the Scream movies. That's kind of now a new generation. So Lionsgate, this is actually a Lionsgate movie, so that's not low budget. That's normally Lionsgate are normally pretty decent. Not so. Perhaps I've got one here that isn't like total B movie grade kind of horror, but we'll soon find out. Well, yeah. I don't think any of the other films that I've done in this series have actually had trailers at the beginning of them. It's all been, you know, just straight to the extremely cheesy and poor quality movie. So the fact this has got some trailers might suggest that it's slightly above average. That actress looks familiar as well. That looks like the woman. Was that the woman from Heroes? Blonde girl from Heroes. It looked a bit like her. Is there something like Panettiere or something like that? Someone is reinventing the game. Someone is recreating the terror. I can't remember if I've seen this one or not. Someone is rewriting the rules. It's got a couple of the old guard in it from the original Scream movies. The deputy and the reporter lady. Yeah, it's the old tropes. Scream 4, okay. I must have seen that at some point. So that was 2011, that's well old. Wow, it's 10 years ago, Scream 4. Damn, man, where are the years going? Some kind of motorcycle gang. I think, is this the guy who lives in his car, who's an attorney out of his car? Is that Matthew McConaughey, is it? I think it is. Can't say it's a film I've ever bothered with much. It's like a courtroom drama. Yeah, bit of a drama. He's got some fresh-faced kid as a client who probably is going to turn out to be a psychopath. He's claiming he's innocent, based on the best-selling novel by Michael Connelly, was that? Yeah, the client's now threatening his family. Marissa Tomei and Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, this is a big William H. Macy. He's looking old now. John Leguizamo. He's a good actor. Bryan Cranston. Michael Pena. I've seen his face before in a few things. So, the Lincoln lawyer. That's right, because he does all his lawyering out of the back of a Lincoln, which is some kind of car they have over there in the good old US of A. So far the trailers have been actually decent, so it makes me think the actual movie might not be an absolute pile of tosh. That'll make a change. Okay, play movie. Got the familiar graphics of the churning cogs, which I think is the... they always have them at the beginning of their films, don't they? What's the name? Lionsgate, is it? Yeah, and they're going for the key. Yeah, the key to the gate kind of thing. The inner workings of the key to the gate of the Lionsgate. Yeah, always been lots of good movies on Lionsgate movies. It always seems to be like a film company that brings out some good ones. So it's Lionsgate and Gold Circle Films present Joel Schumacher film. He's, I believe he's a well-known director. Okay, I tried to set up the subtitles so I could see what's being said, because I keep the volume down a bit so it doesn't come out too much on the camera, but the subtitles didn't seem to want to work. It said there were subtitles options, but then nothing came up. It just said off, and I was trying to set it to on, and it wouldn't. It's hardly important for the film. Dominic Purcell, isn't he? And Henry Cavill. Okay, he's got a couple of big names in it then. Isn't Dominic Purcell was he the guy from Prison Break? And played Captain Cold. Could be wrong. And obviously Henry Cavill is Superman. So we started off in a farm. I've forgotten where they said it was actually. What part of America it was. Massachusetts maybe? I can't remember now. Michael Fassbender's in it as well. West Virginia, according to this. Emma Booth as well. Is she not an English actress who's in a lot of horror movies? Is that Emma Booth? Yeah, so we're back at the beginning where this tells you on the back of the thing there's a German family living in America, in West Virginia, struggling obviously on the farm, harsh living I'm assuming, and they're being offered $150 a month or something for them to put up in a spare room a German from Germany. And obviously before the war, but yeah, probably some leading up to it kind of stuff. So they're loading up his gear that he's just arrived, and a box is broken open and there's some old books inside it with some very archaic looking depictions and languages in them. Obviously occult books. And this looks like the German scientist is arriving, looking very Gestapo-y with his long leather coat and his black leather gloves. Yeah, you can tell from the start it's all very black and white, and he's all in shadow, and he's like obviously a ominous kind of figure. Oh, that's Michael Fassbender. He's playing the German scientist coming to stay with this German-American family. Okay, so it seems like he's coming to find some old Viking runes, maybe, that were left here by the Germans' Viking ancestors. The apparently the runestone is on their land and has been used as the cornerstone for their barn. He's got some kind of dagger. Is that a dagger he's got there? In his case, all covered in runes. It looks like it's made out of a spine. They look like they're made out of bones. I wonder if it's all going to be black and white. I mean, it's black and white in the past, and when it comes to the future, it's going to be colour probably. Okay, he's now coming to see the stone. The rune stone, which has been handily facing inwards when it was used as the cornerstone for the building. And he's sensing the runes, he's looking at the runes. Look at the little girl of the family, he's got a dead bird, a pet bird that's died. I'm pretty sure he's about to bring it back to life. Not very good life though, zombie life I'm sure. So he's chanting over the dead bird. It's very cool imagery, black and white with like, in the darkness of the cellar, with like glimpses of light coming through the cracks in the rafters or something. Oh yeah, the bird just opened its eyes and its eyes just went white. Oh, he's gone back to death again. So the bird opened its eyes and then closed them again and died again. But he's saying that he can, once he's at practice, he'll be able to bring things back to life for longer. And he's had a nosebleed. So it's obviously took a lot out of him. The incantation. I think he wants to use her blood as part of his ritual, from what he seems to be saying. Oh, and now in modern day anyway. Now in modern day the colours come in. I'm assuming it's the same farm. Somebody's shot, bleeding profusely. There's a couple of paramedics trying to sort them out. And there's a woman with a gun who obviously must have shot him, and the police are pointing. I suppose they haven't taken her out already. I thought cops shot there, and then just thought about it a bit later afterwards. She's waving a gun around, and they haven't taken her out yet. That's not how American cops do it. She'd be riddled with holes by now, twitching on the ground. Instead, she's screaming and holding her gun up, and let's not get political, but she's a white woman, so. There seem to be less. Oops, and now the meth lab's blown up. Don't know if anyone's dead. That was it, okay. So assuming that was the two brothers who the story's gonna. I'm assuming the two paramedics are brothers. I don't know. We'll see as it goes on. No, so I think he was the medic, one of the medics. And yeah, now he's gone to see his father, and we're getting a bit of backstory. We're hearing about his brother who's disappeared. His dad's not well. I think he's losing his marbles a bit as well. And he's forgotten his son's missing. Okay, it must be Halloween because his nephews just rang him up and say he's going to be taking us trick-or-treating, and he's obviously forgotten about it. So there must be the children of his brother who's gone missing. I think he's next to the grave of his brother now, assuming because he's been missing for so long. I thought it had to be like 7 years or something before you was allowed to declare someone dead. And I thought you only said 2 years on here. I don't know if it was his brother. Was it his brother? The name on there was Victor.
You know how I feel about it.
Oh yeah, I think he's made a grave for his brother. But the brother's wife doesn't want to give up hope. So she's saying you shouldn't have put a grave there because, you know, he's still missing. He's only missing as far as I'm concerned. He might turn up again any time. Which, as we know from the synopsis, he does. Okay. He was asleep having a nightmare about drowning, and suddenly he's been woken up by his brother, who looks like a hobo. Big beard, long scraggly hair. Yep, so his brother's just turned up out of the blue, told him to get guns, get the boat, get lots of ammo, and now he's chopping his hair off. Shaving his head. Just looking at how many bullets he's got. Yep, and now Victor is all shaven. Shaven head, shaven beard. Yeah, it was the guy from Prison Break. He's also Captain Cold. No, he's not Captain Cold, he's Heatwave. Heatwave. Captain Cold's the other guy from Prison Break. So the one brother hasn't asked any. Well, he tried asking questions, but Victor wouldn't, provide any. So he just basically drop of a hat, going with him with guns. Just seen the marks on Victor's arms where he was obviously tied up for quite some time. And now they're boating off with guns. And we can expect some killing. Killing of Nazis. And zombie Nazis. Okay, now they're trudging through the forest. I'm assuming they're coming to Blood Creek and the farm of the German family. It's covered by fencing. That was a bit of a weird one. He dropped his bag at the bottom of the fence before climbing over, and then suddenly on the other side he's picking up the bag, so unless the bag teleported through the fence, well, we just have to imagine that the other guy handed it over, even though we saw him start to climb before handing it over. I might have seen this before. Yeah, he's asking for a reason why. Give me a reason why we're doing what we're doing, like. And he just showed his back all full of scars. And now they've been attacked by a dog, which he's just stabbed. Do not watch this if you're triggered by dog deaths. He's been bitten by. It didn't look like the dog even got through his arm. He's taken a rabies vaccine anyway. Lucky he brought a rabies vaccine with him. Oh, that looked painful. I heard the rabies vaccine is a very painful one to have because you have it in the stomach. So you just... I don't know why you have it in the stomach, rather than like another part of your body like you do with other vaccines, like up your, in your arse or in your shoulder. Don't know why it has to be in the stomach. Is there a particular reason? Right, so they're on the farm now. All the doors are covered with looks like 5 pointed stars, pentagrams, I think, rather than they're not swastikas. They look kind of pentagramish. I doubt they're the Star of David if they're Nazis. Right, there's some shooting going on, some fighting going on. He's just taking out the farm boy. Now they're looking over the old lady in the kitchen. Right, and the guy outside who got shot in the stomach just picked up the knife that he had, and he's getting up. Not quite zombie-like. He looks more like he's just hanging on. He's dragging himself. Maybe he's dragging himself to the barn so he can stand in front of the rune stone and resurrect himself, maybe. She's got a knife. She's got one of the bone knives with runes on it, and she's coming for him. I know, she swiped it and then run past him. I just realised the other guy who's not Victor, who's not Heatwave, that is Henry Cavill. I didn't realise it was Henry Cavill. Still a bit mysterious. I'm assuming they're after Michael Fassbender. The family seem to want to be protecting him. Victor's searching for him. Now, why did they have him captive for 2 years then? Just out of cruelty? Were they taking his blood for their rituals? He's having flashbacks. There's lots of blood. He looks like he's been bitten. Is he having his blood sucked? Maybe. He's got into a shipping container in the garden. Right, so he's searching for him. I'm assuming that's to say it's a Michael Fassbender. He's just going to finish off the guy who was shot in the stomach. I know. You now see where he was bit by the dog. He certainly did get bitten. There's some holes in his arm. Right, the two women of the family are tied to the chairs in the kitchen now. He's just seen the picture dated 1940 of the September 1940 of the mother and the daughter, and now it's like 50 years later and they're exactly the same age. I mean, there's maybe a certain attraction to living a very long life, and when you live in a crummy old farm, in the arse end of nowhere. Who wants to live forever? Oh yeah, the father of the family. I see. The father of the family is he's at market. Surely the people who he's taking stuff to market for 50 odd years without ever aging a day, 70 years, would be a bit suspicious. And he's still driving the same old truck that he's always driven. Hasn't explained why they've had him captive. Why they had him captive for 2 years. Assuming they wanted his blood. How did he escape? Alright, so the one brother, Evan, who's not Henry Cavill, he's going to look in the black trailer, black container. His brother doesn't want him to. But all you can see, it looks like rotten stench in there. I would have left the door open rather than let it slam behind you. There's lots of blood. Looks like a dead body. Or someone tied up. That person's alive. Why didn't the other brother let him out? So there's another guy tied up there. I'm assuming in the same way that Victor was tied up previously. But I don't understand why Victor just left him there. It's not very empathetic, is it? The guy was taken after he got away and kept in the same sort of way that he was kept. Surely you'd think he'd have some empathy and let him go. And now they're having a fight. The brothers are having a fight over issues from the past. Guy's walked into a barn. There looks like some chained up bones. I'm assuming it was once a living person. Okay, looks like the father's coming back from market. Victor's got some keys. He's trying to unlock a cellar door. Right, Henry Cavill has just released the guy who was chained up in the black container. But the guy's completely out of it. He's pretty much unconscious and being carried by Henry Cavill. And Victor's just shot the father as he's coming back from the market. And he's crashed and broke the cellar door that Victor was trying to open before. So that was handy. He's trying to ask him where he is, and he's more interested about his son who's dead. Oh, here we go. The cellar door's now breaking up, and something is emerging. Something strong and bulletproof. Ah, I see. I see. This is why all the house is all covered in symbols, because it keeps him from coming in. So the family are pretty much as much prisoners, although they're kept alive. They're only alive as prisoners, really. Okay, Michael Fassbender looks suitably rotten. I don't know what to bother with guns. They've already seen that. They've already seen the bullets don't harm him. So it seems like he only comes out at night. And he's just killed a horse that was running past with his claws. So I'm assuming he's got a feast, maybe. Alright, so he's killed the horse and now he's whispering to it. Incantation. And it's opening its milky white eye and rising. It's probably going to kick down the door on his behest. Yep, the horse is just... Oh, nasty. The guy who was just let out of the black container, he's just been taken by the horse through the window. And now he's kicked open the door. Victor's blowing holes in it. I've never seen a zombie horse in a film before, but they're blowing holes in this horse and he's set fire to it. And they're using blood to make another symbol to cover the other window that was kicked in. Oh, the guy who got pulled out by the horse is still alive. He's climbed under the house. He's gone into the crawl space of the house. But they've hastily scrawled a symbol on a sheet and they put it up over the door. The symbol doesn't look very like it's done very well. Right, now the zombie Nazi has gone to the son who was killed and is rising him back to life. The dead son's just come home. So the animated dead can come home, can open doors, and not held back by the rooms. Oh. Daddy's just went to say hello to his son and got stabbed in the guts. So they're fighting with zombie son. What's happened to their guns? Have they run out of bullets or something? But zombie Nazis chanting outside. Apparently you can raise dead at a distance because now the father who was just stabbed and killed has woken up as a zombie. And now he's going to kill his wife, I think. The horses. Oh, how many horses are there? Are these live horses or zombie horses? Zombie Nazis now on the back of one of them anyway. And Daddy Zombie's heading upstairs to fight the brothers. You haven't actually seen what happened to them while they were fighting with the son zombie. Kind of just panned away from there. You never saw what happened. Oh, now Henry Cavill's got into a fight with Daddy Zombie. No idea what happened to Victor, and well, that was quite good. So he just stabbed Daddy Zombie with one of them bone knives, and you see the knife go straight up through his mouth. You see his mouth open. You can see the knife inside his tongue. That's as he stabbed inside his. Right, now we see Victor using a firebrand, a poker, to bash in the brains of son zombie. Oop. Apparently Daddy Zombie wasn't dead, but now he is. Okay, now the mother of the family is apparently having trouble breathing. I would have thought that the one of the constituents of being made to live forever would be that you wouldn't worry about breathing problems and so forth. So Henry Cavill just run out to get his medicine bag, which he left for some reason by the wood pile. So he's going to get his medicine bag to help the mother of the family, risking his life before the zombie Nazi can get him. And he got in the house just in time. So the girl's just shown her back. Her back's all covered in scars as well. Okay. So I get a bit more of the story. The family were like being bled by him to gain more strength, and finally they took in a homeless vagrant looking for work, and they started using him as their victim. So I think he was trapped in the cellar, and when the cellar door got broken, that's allowed him to escape. So he's been. So why are they still capturing people then? Why are they still taking people hostage? Are they letting him out at night so he can torture them? Do they actually have him captured or not? I think there's a little bit of a hole in the story there. I'm probably not describing it very well, but for the amount of people who watch these videos, I don't care. Alright, so the perimeter fence has got bar and runes on them as well, so he can't get out. That's how they've contained him. I don't know why they didn't contain him in the cellar. And then not capture people and use them. Yeah, I don't quite understand that. If they could contain him in the grounds by putting runes, why don't they put runes on the cellar door and keep him locked in the cellar, and then not have to capture vagrants and various people from the neighbourhood and steal their blood? Okay, so zombie Nazis gone back to the runes in the cellar to gain strength from the stone. Okay, so he needs blood to be able to cross over and open his third eye or something like that. And those bones that we saw chained up in the shed apparently are the bones of his ancestors, which were like an armour for him. He brought them over from Germany with him. So now Victor and Evan are going to try and get the bone armour from the shed. Actually, he seems to have most of his books. Okay, so they're throwing out his books from the top window, and they're about to set fire to them. They went up very quickly. They have set fire to them, but to try and distract him while Victor is going to go to the shed to get the armour. He managed to rescue the book that he wanted. All right, and the guy is still underneath the house. The guy who was dragged out by... Oh, that was clumsy of him. What on earth was he thinking? The guy who was under the house, the one who had been captured and was in the black container, just tried to attack zombie Nazi with a scythe, and he's been pretty much killed, and has probably provided him with the blood that he needs to cross over now. That was very clumsy. He was perfectly safe underneath that house. Nobody knew he was there. Alright. And Evan had to shoot the guy who was having his blood sucked out. because the zombie Nazi can't feed off the dead. So he was an idiot. He could have got back to his family maybe if he'd stayed hidden. The zombie Nazi's taking off whatever was over his face, and was he wearing a mask or something? I don't know what. He had like bandages or something on his face. He just peeled them off and you can see more zombie Nazi underneath. Not sure what the significance of that was. Alright, now the guy from the container is now a zombie. Apparently still has the ability to talk. Okay, he seems to have managed to have retained some of his... Oh, and now the dog that was stabbed earlier has come to life. And Victor's wearing his ancestors' bone armour. Dog moves pretty good. I didn't manage to climb the stairs. Zombie dog's even more of a badass than the living dog. Looks like he's going to try and open up his third eye by hammering... Ouch. He's hammering a spike into his forehead. Panation. Okay, he's still fighting with the dog. Still fighting with the zombie dog. And it seems like the bone armour doesn't have any defence against zombie god. Zombie dog, not zombie god. Okay, Victor's just drawn a symbol on his head that was used previously to keep the zombie Nazi out. Now he's getting away on a horse while zombie Nazi's chasing him. Dropped the bone armour off. That seemed precarious. It would have been easier to have jumped off the horse and taken him into the house. Unless he thinks the zombie Nazi's after him. Okay, zombie Nazi's in front of him. I've given up working out what the hell's supposed to be. Oh, I see. I think. So he's got some powder from the bones, from the bone armour, because he can't drink his own blood or the blood of his own family. So somehow he's going to offer himself up to be, and somehow he's going to make him eat the bones. Oh, he's got a plan anyway. Just not 100% clear what the plan is. It's a tad vague. But Victor's fallen off his horse. And I think he may be... Oh, he's just wiped the blinking mark off his forehead by accident. I see. Nazi zombie let Victor go because he knew that he'd come back and do something that would release Nazi zombie from the family's... Yeah. From his family's captivity. So they had him captive, but they had to keep feeding him. I don't know why they had to keep feeding him. Why they couldn't just have left him stuck in there. But they were feeding him whoever they'd captured. He's right now. The girl is cut. Okay, so the girl has cut Evan, who is Superman, Henry Cavill. They've actually smeared bone powder into the wound. And so we're assuming when he comes to feed like he normally feeds, he'll get the bones in his mouth or the powder with the bones in his mouth, and that'll kill him. He's now peeling off his nose. He's now peeling off his skin again. I'm assuming he's like more alive maybe. Maybe as his power gets greater, he's becoming more back to life. Like he's molting. He's coming closer to attaining his third eye godhood, whatever. Yeah, he's looking more human now. He's peeled off this layer of skin. Slightly more alive than he did previously. Okay, so the plan is go and suck Henry Cavill's blood out of the wound in the ritualistic way that you've done it with all the other victims, and accidentally get some of your ancestors' bones in your gob and die. Oh, his third eye's coming. Okay, now the young girl is ringing the bell for dinner time. So apparently there's a rune painted on Henry's chest that will stop the Nazi vampire zombie from sucking all of his blood. It will stop him from draining him dry, apparently, this rune. It's definitely a lot better than the other movies I've watched in this little series of watching movies. I do remember, I've actually seen this before. You know, it didn't ring any bells, first of all, but like now he's having the blood sucked out of his wound. Let's hope he gets some bone powder in his mouth. Oh, it looks like the guy who was being held captive, who rather foolishly got himself killed, has escaped from the room that he was trapped in. Now what's Victor doing? Victor's cutting his hands on purpose on barbed wire. Right, okay. Zombie Nazi is staggered because he's drunk some of his own family blood. Henry's trying to stab him with one of those rune bone knives. Yeah, Nazi zombie's crawling around. He's got stabbed with a bone knife, but he's Now he's got the bone knife and he's going to stab. I don't understand what Victor thinks he's doing by cutting himself. He's cutting his hands open on the barbed wire. Oh, right. I see. Oh, he was trying to get some barbed wire. Is that what was he trying to do? Now he's wrapped barbed wire. So is he trying to get that as a weapon? He's now trying to saw his head off with barbed wire. Ouch. Henry Cavill stabbing him in his third eye with the knife, the bone rune knife. Yep. And now I think they've sawed his head off. And the zombie animals are all dying. All the zombies are dying. I'm guessing the mum and daughter are gonna suddenly start aging. Looks like the zombie's dead. I'm guessing he's gonna find a couple of skeletons. Yeah, the mother anyway. Evan has gone into the cellar to look at all the stuff that he's got there. It looks like other Nazis were sent to other places under something called the Covington Project. The daughter of the family is now a very old woman. So she's got to be nearly 90 now. Apparently there are other Nazi scientists, occultists sent to other farms where Vikings had left the runes back when they first came to... Right, so Victor's set fire to the house, burn all the evidence. I just hope the police don't come, find all the dead bodies, discover their fingerprints, and then they go down for a massacre. They can't exactly burn the container, and their fingerprints and blood samples will be in the container. Okay, looks like the film's nearly finished. I'm assuming that maybe she died, the old woman who was a young woman, because they've just padded off together, the two brothers. Well, he must have had a story to tell his missus. It looks like Henry Cavill's going to go and check the locations of the other 8 locations. Just conveniently, when you join the crosses up of the 8 locations where Nazi occultists have been sent to look for runes, they just happen to make a swastika shape. Okay, Henry Cavill is scarring a symbol into his chest. It's not a Superman symbol. It's an anti-Nazi zombie symbol. It looks like he's going to try and check out these other locations, see if any untoward Nazi zombiness is going on there. Okay, that's the end of the film. I don't know why Henry Cavill was going off on his own to take out these other... why he didn't have his brother go with him. But, okay. Emma Booth, Emma Booth wasn't who I thought it was anyway. I was mixing her up with someone else. Yeah, I was thinking at the beginning she was a British actress, but no, it wasn't her. Maybe she's British, but it wasn't the person I was thinking of. Probably, I don't know who, I can't believe she was a woman, I'm sure her name was Emma Booth, but anyway, this probably wasn't. Probably completely wrong. So I got 2 out of 3 right anyway. And who else did I say that Saw was in it and commented on? I don't remember what I said now. There were some other people that I saw in it that I thought I knew. I think I was thinking of the trailer that I saw. But anyway, yeah, overall, that was probably the best one that I've seen out of this little series of watching, which I thought were all going to be crappy horror movies, and finding out that at least one of them was pretty decent. Blood Creek, a Joel Schumacher film. Yeah, that was an entertaining enough hour and a half, whatever it was. Yeah, cool. 1 out of 7 ain't bad. 6, 7, I don't really know how many I've watched. But yeah, this one I watched just for Matilda and Werewolf by Lunchtime, because they seem to be the 2 people who actually watch me watching films and talking rubbish about them. I don't know why they watch them, but I'm glad they do, I think. Why do I do these videos? I don't know. It's something to do, isn't it? Blimey. You know, one day someone's going to discover them and go, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And like there'd be a massive cult of people watching my films. But maybe that won't happen. I have to live with the feeling that perhaps that won't happen at all. And I'm fooling myself. But anyway, cheers for watching, whoever did watch this one. And I think I've got a couple more films left to go. So I'll probably get through them at some point. Cheers.